One of the most common questions that I get asked is, how would I invest £1,000? Typically, when people are asking this question, it is because this is the money that they have to invest, or they are willing to invest, and they want financial advice. Unfortunately, I'm not here to give financial advice, and what comes up in the video should not be taken as such. I am going to share a few popular strategies that either I would use or others I respect have used in the past. Welcome to the Looking After Your Pennies YouTube channel. My name is Charlotte Jessup, and I am a financial educator. My job is to teach people like you all the things that you should have been taught about money at school. But one, I teach budgeting, investing, saving money, making money, pensions, and a whole load more. Now, before I dive into what I would invest £1,000 in, let's just remind you that when investing, your money can go down as well as up. Your money is at risk. You need to do your own research or seek expert advice. These strategies are mine and they work for me, but they may not be right for you. So here is what I'm going to share with you today. I'm going to talk about dollar or pound cost averaging. I'm going to look at the differences between stocks and shares ISAs and self-invested personal pensions. I'm going to touch on investing for your children, and then I'm going to look at the funds that I am investing in. So let's jump straight in. So number one, dollar cost averaging. It made sense to me to mention this in this video as something that anyone with a lump sum that they want to invest might want to consider. They say in the world of the stock market that there are two key points: when you buy and when you sell. These are key to determine how much money you will make in the long run. Now, I am not the sort of person that likes to try and guess when it might be a good time to buy into some investment. I don't have the time or the skills particularly for that. So instead, I like to use the idea of dollar cost or pound cost averaging, which ultimately means that rather than investing all the money in one go, we're going to make smaller investments over a period of a few months. The aim here is that you will then sometimes be buying the stocks when they are cheap, and other times you'll be buying when they're a bit higher. So ultimately, you end up buying the average price. It will fall somewhere in the middle. It's simple to do. You would take that £1,000 investment and divide it into, say, £100 chunks. You could then set up a regular payment for this into whatever investments you choose for the next 10 months. At the end of that period, you will have invested £1,000, but you will have bought the stocks at 10 different price points. It's a simple idea that many of the experts in this field cite as a good way to manage overexposure to a particular price. Number two is stocks and shares ISAs versus self-invested personal pensions. So this is a dilemma that I face every month when deciding where to invest my money. I have both a stocks and shares ISA, and because I'm self-employed, I have a self-invested personal pension. Therefore, I have the choice about where I want to invest my money each month. And the same would be true for any surprise money. Investing in my stocks and shares ISA would mean that any money that I make on it would be tax-free. It also means that I could access that money at any time. And this is attractive because it means that I have the potential to use this money to retire early or at least reduce my working hours in the future. Now, the other alternative for me is to invest into my pension. Both my stocks and shares ISA and my pension are invested into the same funds, which I will talk through in just a minute. The benefit of investing this £1,000 into my pension is that I will be able to claim tax relief. So another £250 would get added to my pot, which is worth having. However, the negatives are that I wouldn't be able to access that money until I am 57 at least, and that it would be taxable at the point of withdrawal. My current strategy is to invest into both, with typically around 75 to 80% of my investments going into my ISA and the rest going into my pension. With a one-off lump sum, I would probably adopt this strategy too. So number 3, investing for your children. Now the other factor that I would consider is investing for my children. I invest on their behalf every month into their stocks and shares junior ISAs. Currently, I have a direct debit that pays £50 a month into each of my children's accounts, and occasionally this gets a top up if there is extra cash around. Now, if I had £1,000 at this point, I would likely consider investing into their accounts too. My instinct would be to put £100 into each, leaving me with about £800 to invest for myself. Investing for my children is important to me as I want them to benefit from the effects of compounding given their age. I also want them to have a pot of money at 18 that they can choose to use how they like, although I will be encouraging them to leave it alone. Ultimately, this could help me too. It could mean that my children have the money to fund their own education or buying their first house or first car, meaning that the financial impact will have been spread out over the first 18 years of their life, rather than just at those critical points. So part 4 is what am I actually investing in? And if you've watched some of my previous videos, you will know that I like to try lots of different investing platforms and use them for different reasons. However, my stocks and shares ISA and my pension are both with Vanguard. And this is where I put the bulk of any money that I have to invest. When I first started investing with Vanguard, I opted for a couple of funds that I found gave me a good mix based on things like geography, industries, and business size. But I later switched to using their Life Strategy 80 fund. This fund offers investment of 80% in stocks and 20% in bonds. However, more recently I have switched again and have gone exclusively for Vanguard's ESG funds. I have talked about ethical investing for a while and I'm a big believer in the impact it can have. So I decided to switch all of my investments over. Now I invest 90% into the ESG Developed World All Cap Equity Fund accumulation and 10% into the ESG Emerging Markets All Cap Equity Fund also accumulation. Honestly, I did not put a huge amount of thought into choosing these funds, but my aim was to capture as much of the global economy as possible. Naturally, I may tweak this over time, but currently this arrangement is meeting my needs both financially and ethically. My children's junior ISAs are currently invested with Wealthify into their ethical adventurous option. To summarise then, I would likely put £100 into each of my children's junior ISAs. I would put £600 into my stocks and shares ISA and £200 even into my pension. For me, this is not far off the amounts that I am typically investing every month anyway, so I wouldn't particularly feel the need to use dollar cost averaging in this example. But for larger amounts, say £5,000 or £10,000, I would be far more likely to consider it. So there you have it. That is how I would invest £1,000. But I would love to know how you would invest it. Use the comment section below to let me know. Don't forget to hit the like button while you're there and give me a subscribe too. A big thank you for watching today and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!